Hello all. Today we will discuss chapter 4 Post-Mauryan Trends in the Indian Art and Architecture. From the 2nd century BC onwards, various rulers established their control over the vast Mauryan Empire. The Shungas, Kanvas, Kushanas, and Guptas in the north and the parts of central India, the Shatavahanas, Ikshvakus, Apiras, Vakadagas in southern and western India. Incidentally, the part of the 2nd century BCE also marked the rise of main Brahmanical sects such as Vaishnavas and Shaivas. There are numerous sites dating back to the 2nd century BCE in India. Some of the prominent examples of the finest sculpture are found at Vidisha, Barhut, Madhya Pradesh, Bodh Gaya, Bihar, Jagayapeta, Andhra Pradesh, Mathura, Uttar Pradesh, Kandagiri, Udaygiri, Odisha, Baja near Pune, and Pavani near Nagpur, Maharashtra. Barhut, Yakshini, Barhut is depicted here. Okay, Barhut. Barhut sculptures are tall-like images of Yaksha and Yakshini in the Mauryan period. Modeling of the sculptural volume is in low relief, maintaining linearity. Images stick to the picture plane. In the relief panels depicting narratives, illusion of three-dimensionality is shown with titled tilted perspective. Clarity in the narrative is enhanced by selecting main events. At Barhut, narrative panels are shown with fewer characters, but as the time progresses, apart from the main character in the story, others also start appearing in the picture space. At times, more than one event at one geographical place is clubbed in the period in the picture space, or only a single main event is depicted in the pictorial space. Availability of the space is utilized to the maximum by the sculptures. Folded hands in the narratives as well as single figures of yakshas and yakshinis are shown flat, clinging to the chest. But in some cases, especially in the later times, the hands are shown with the natural projection against the chest. Such examples show how artisans who were working at a collective level had to understand the method of carving. Initially, dressing the surface of stone slabs appears as the main concern. Later, the human body and other forms were sculpted. Due to shallow carving of the post-picture surface, projection of hands and feet was not possible. Hence, the folded hands and awkward position of the feet. There is a general stiffness in the body and arms, but gradually such visual appearance was modified by making images with deep carvings, pronounced volume, and a very naturalistic representation of human and animal bodies. Sculptures at Barhut, Bodh Gaya, Sanji Stupa 2, and Jagayapeta are good examples. Narrative reliefs at Barhut show how artisans use the pictorial language very effectively to communicate stories. In one such narrative showing Queen Maya Devi's dream, Queen Maya Devi is the mother of Siddhartha Gautama. So, showing Queen Maya Devi's dream, a descending elephant is shown. The queen is shown reclining on the bed, whereas an elephant is shown on the top heading towards the womb of Queen Maya Devi. On the other hand, the depiction of Jataka story is very simple, narrated by clubbing the events according to geographical location of the story-like depiction of Ruru Jataka, where the Bodhisattva deer is rescuing a man on his back. The other event in the same picture frame depicts the king standing with his army and about to shoot an arrow at the deer, and the man who was rescued by the deer is also shown along with the king, pointing a finger at the deer. According to the story, the man promised the deer after his rescue that he would not disclose his identity to anybody. But when the king makes a proclamation of reward for disclosing the identity of the deer, he turns hostile and takes the king to the same jungle where he had seen the deer. Such Jataka stories became part of stupa decoration. Interestingly, with the rise in the construction of stupas in various parts of the country, regional stylistic variations also began to emerge. One main characteristic in all the male images of the first second centuries BC is the BC is the knotted headgear. In many sculptures, it is very consistent. Some of the sculptures found at Barhut are displayed in Indian Museum, Kolkata. Okay. Here you can see the Jataka panel found at Barhut. Queen Maya Devi's dream found at Barhut. Okay. Sanji, the next phase of sculptural development at Sanji Stupa 1, Mathura and Vengi in Andhra Pradesh, Guntur district, is noteworthy in the stylistic progression. Stupa 1 at Sanji has upper as well as lower Pradikshana Pada or circumambulatory path. It has four beautifully decorated Toranas depicting various events from the life of Buddha and Jatakas. Figure compositions are in high relief, filling up the entire space. Depiction of posture gets naturalistic and there is no stiffness in the body. Heads have considerable projection in the picture space. Rigidity in the contours get reduced and images are given movement. Okay, here you can see the depiction of a stupa, plan of stupa 1, Sanji. Chatri, Harmiga, Pradikshana Pada, Anda, Medhi, Vedika, and Torana. Okay. Narrations get elaborated. Carving techniques appear more advanced than Barhut. Symbols continue to be used representing the Buddha and Manushi Buddhas or the past Buddhas. According to the textual tradition, there are 24 Buddhas, but only the first one, Dipangar, and the last six are pictorially represented. At Sanji Stupa 1, narratives get more elaborated. However, the depiction of the dream episode remains very simple, showing the reclining image of the queen and the elephant at the top. The historical narratives, such as the siege of Kushinara, Buddha's visit to Kapilavastu, visit of Ashoka to the Ramgrama Stupa, are carved with considerable details. In Mathura, images of this period bear the same quality but are different in the depiction of physiognomic details. Okay, here you can see a picture of stone carving, Stupa once found at Sanchi. Okay, this is a depiction of part of railing, Sangol. Okay, Mathura, Sarnath, and Gandhara schools. The first century CE onwards, Gandhara, now in Pakistan, Mathura in northern India, and Vengi in Andhra Pradesh emerged as important centers of art production. Buddha, in the symbolic form, got a human form in the Mathura and Gandhara. This cultural tradition in Gandhara had confluence of Bactria, Parthia, and local Gandhara tradition. The local sculptural tradition at Mathura became so strong that the tradition spread to other parts of the northern India. The best example in this regard is the stupa sculptures found at Sangol in the Punjab. The Buddha image at Mathura is modeled on the lines of earlier Yaksha images, whereas in Gandhara it has Hellenistic features. Images of Vaishnava, mainly Vishnu and his various forms, and Shaiva, mainly the Lingas and Mukhalingas. Faiths are also found at Mathura, but Buddhist images are found in large numbers. It may be noted that the images of Vishnu and Shiva are represented by their ayudas, weapons. Okay. There is boldness in carving the large images. The volume of the image is projected out of the picture plane. The faces are round and smiling. Heaviness in the sculptural volume is reduced to a relaxed flush. The garments of the body are clearly visible and they cover the left shoulder. Images of Buddha, Yakshas, Yakshinis, Shaivite and Vaishnavite deities, and portrait statues are profusely sculpted. In the 2nd century CE, images in Mathura get sensual. rotundity increases, they become fleshier. In the 3rd century CE, treatment of the sculptural volume changes by reducing the extreme fleshiness. Movement in the posture is shown by increasing distance between the two legs as well as by using bends in the body's posture. Softness in the surface continues to get refined. The trend continues in the 4th century CE, but in the late 4th century CE, the massiveness and fleshiness is reduced further and the flesh becomes more tightened. The volume of the drapery also gets reduced, and in the 5th and 6th century CE, the drapery is integrated into sculptural mass. The transparent quality in the robes of the Buddha images is evident. In this period, two important schools of sculptures in northern India are worth noting. The traditional center, Mathura, remained the main art production site, whereas Sarnath and Kaushambi also emerged as important centers of art production. Many Buddha images in Sarnath have plain transparent drapery covering both shoulders, and the halo around the head has very little ornamentation, whereas the Mathura Buddha images continue to depict folds of the drapery in the Buddha images, and the halo around the head is profusely decorated. One can visit museums at Mathura, Sarnath, Varanasi, New Delhi, Chennai, Amaravati, etc. to study the features of early sculptures. Okay, meditating Buddha, Gandhar, third, 4th century CE. Okay, Bodhisattva, Gandhar, 5th to 6th century CE. Okay. Early temples. While construction of stupas continued, Brahmanical temples and images of gods also started getting constructed. Often, temples were decorated with the images of gods. Myths mentioned in the Puranas became part of narrative description of the Brahmanical religion. Each temple had a principal image of God. The shrines of the temples were of three kinds: Sadharana type without Pradikshanapada, Nirandara type with Pradikshanapada, and Sarvada which can be accessed from all sides. Some of the important temple sites of this period are Deoghar in Uttar Pradesh, Iran, Nachna Kutara, and Udaygiri near Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh. These temples are simple structures consisting of a veranda, a hall, and a shrine at the rear. They will be discussed in detail in the next chapter. Among the important stupa sites outside the Gangetic Valley is Devini Mori in Gujarat. Okay. In the subsequent centuries, sculptures had little variations while slender images with transparent drapery remained a dominant aesthetic sensibility. Chatur Mukilinga, Nachna Kutra inset. Okay. Shiva Temple, Nachna Kutra, Madhya Pradesh, 5th century CE. Okay. Buddhist monuments of South India. Vengi in Andhra Pradesh has many stupas like Jagayapeta, Amaravati, Battiprolu, Nagarjunakonda, Goli, etc. Amaravati has a Mahachaitya and had many sculptures which are now preserved in Chennai Museum. Amaravati Site Museum, National Museum, New Delhi, and the British Museum, London. Like the Sanji Stupa, the Amaravati Stupa also has Pradikshana Pada enclosed within a Vediga on which many narrative sculptures are depicted. The Dominical stupa structure is covered with relief stupa sculptural slabs, which is a unique feature. The Torana of the Amaravati stupa has disappeared over a period of time. Events from the life of the Buddha and the Jataka stories are depicted. Though in the Amaravati stupa, there is evidence of construction activity in the 3rd century BCE. It was best developed in the 1st and 2nd centuries CE. Like Sanji, the early phase is devoid of Buddha images, but during the later phase, in the 2nd and 3rd century CE, the Buddha images are carved on the drum slabs and at many other places. Interior space in the composition is created by different postures of the figures such as back, profile, frontal, semi-frontal, side, etc. Sculptural form in this area is characterized by intense emotions. Figures are slender, have a lot of movement. Bodies are shown with three bends, that is Tribanga, and the sculptural composition is more complex than at Sanji. Okay. Linearity becomes flexible. Dynamic movement breaks the staticness of form. The idea of creating three-dimensional space in the relief sculpture is devised by using pronounced volume, angular bodies, complex overlapping. However, absolute attention has been paid to the clarity of form despite its size and role in the narrative. Okay, here you can see carving on outer wall of Stupa Amaravati. Stupa drum slab Amaravati, 2nd century CE. Okay. Narratives are profusely depicted, with which include events from the life of Buddha and Jataka stories. There are a number of Jataka scenes that have not been completely identified. In the depiction of the birth event, the queen is shown reclining on a bed surrounded by female attendants, and a small sized elephant is carved on the upper frame of the composition, showing the dream of Queen Maya Devi. In another relief, four events related to birth of the Buddha are shown. These represent varied ways of depicting the narratives. The animated movement in the figures get reduced in the sculptures of Nagarjuna Konda and Goli in the 3rd century CE. Even within the relatively low relief volume than the Amaravati sculptures, artists at Nagarjuna Konda and Goli managed to create the effect of protruding surfaces of the body, which is suggestive in nature and look very integral. Independent Buddha images are also found at Amaravati, Nagarjunakonda, and Gundapalli. Gundapalli is a rock-cut cave site near Elluru. Small apsidal and circular chaitya halls have been excavated belonging to the 2nd century BCE. The other important site where rock-cut stupas have been excavated is Anagapalli near Vishakhapatnam. In Karnataka, Sannadhi is the largest stupa site excavated so far. It also has a stupa like the one in Amravati decorated with sculptural relief. Okay, here you can see the panel Nagarjuna Konda. Okay. Construction of a large number of stupas does not mean that there were no structured temples or viharas or chaityas. We do get evidences, but no structured chaitya or vihara survived. Among the important structured viharas mentioned may be made of the Sanji apsidal chaitya structure, that is temple 18, which is a simple shrine temple having front pillars and a hall at the back. Similar structured temples at Gundapalli are also worth mentioning. Along with the images of the Buddha, other Buddhist images of the Bodhisattvas like Avalokiteshvara, Padmapani, Vajrapani, Amitabha, and Maitreya Buddha started getting sculpted. However, with the rise of Vajrayana Buddhism, many Bodhisattva images were added as a part of personified representations of certain virtues or qualities as propagated by the Buddhist religious principles for the welfare of the masses. Cave tradition in Western India. In Western India, many Buddhist caves dating back to the 2nd century BCE onwards have been excavated. Mainly three architectural types were executed. First one is apsidal vault roof chaitya halls found at Ajanta, Pittalkora, Baja. Second, apsidal vault roof pillarless hall found at Tana Natsur. And third, flat roofed quadrangular hall with a circular chamber at the back found at Kondi White. The front of the Chaitya hall is dominated by the motif of semicircular Chaitya arch with a open front which has a wooden facade, and in some cases there is no dominating Chaitya arch window such as found at Kondivite. In the Chaitya caves, a stupa at the back is common. In all the Chaitya caves, a stupa at the back is common. In the 1st century BCE, some modifications were made to the standard plan of the apsidal vault roof variety, where the hall becomes rectangular like that, like at Ajanta Cave number 9, with a stone screen wall as a facade. Okay, here you can see unfinished Chaitya cave, Kanheri. Okay, this is a Chaitya hall found at Karla. Okay, it is also found at Betsa, Nasik, and Karla and Kanheri. Nasik cave number 3 is depicted here. Okay, many cave sites have the standard first type of Chaitya halls in the subsequent period. In Karla, the biggest rock-cut Chaitya hall was excavated. The cave consists of an open courtyard with 2 pillars, a stone wall, a stone screen wall to protect from the rain, a veranda, a stone screen wall as facade, an apsidal vault roof Chaitya hall with pillars, and a stupa at the back. Karla Chaitya hall is decorated with human and animal figures. They are heavy in their execution and move in the picture space. Further elaboration over the Karla Chaitya hall plan is observed at Kanheri cave number 3. Okay, through the cave's interior was not, though the cave's interior was not fully finished, it shows how the carving progressed from time to time. Subsequently, the quadrangular flat-roofed variety became the most preferred design and is extensively found at many places. The viharas are excavated in all the cave sites. The plan of the viharas consists of a veranda, a hall, cells around the walls of the hall. Some of the important Vihara caves are Ajanta cave number 12, Bedsa cave number 11, Nasik cave number 3, 10, and 17. Many of the early Vihara caves are carved with interior decorative motifs like Chaitya arches and the Vedika designs over the cell doors of the cave. Facade design is facade design in Nasik cave number 3, 10, and 17 became a distinct achievement. The Vihara caves at Nasik were excavated with front pillars carved with Gata base and Gata capital with human figures. One such Vihara cave was also excavated at Junnar, which is popularly known as Ganesh Leni, because of an image of Ganesha belonging to a later period was installed in it. Later, a stupa was added at the back of the hall of the vihara, and it became a Chaitya Vihara. The stupas in the 4th and 5th centuries CE have Buddha images attached. Junnar has the largest cave excavations, more than 200 caves around the hills of the town, whereas Kanheri in Mumbai has 108 excavated caves. The most important sites are Ajanta, Pittalkora, Ellora, Nashik, Baja, Junnar, Karla, Kanheri, Ajanta, Ellora, and Kanheri continue to flourish. Earlier, it was presumed that because of the absence of the Buddha images, the caves were considered belonging to the orthodox faith of Buddhism, that is the Theravadins. Orthodox faith of Buddhism is known as Theravadins, but with the discovery of Konkan Mauryan inscription mentioned in the Shaka era 322, that is 400 CE, it is now satisfactorily proved that the cave activity in Western Deccan was an ongoing process, and many caves had been carved with Buddha images. where the image does not exist anymore. It may also be noted that many caves are converted into modern Hindu shrines and have become popular worshipping sites. Okay, next is Ajanta. The most famous cave at Ajanta, the most famous cave site is Ajanta. It is located in the Aurangabad district of Maharashtra state. Ajanta has 29 caves. Okay, it has four Chaitya caves datable to the earlier phase, that is second and first century BCE. Cave number 10 and 9, and in later phase, that is 5th century CE. Cave number 19 and 26. It has large Chaitya viharas and is decorated with sculptures and paintings. Ajanta is the only surviving example of painting of the 1st century BCE and the 5th century CE. The caves at Ajanta, as well as in the Western Deccan in general, have no precise chronology because of the lack of non-dated inscriptions. Cave numbers 10, 9, 12, and 13 belong to the early phase. Cave numbers 11, 15, and 6, upper and lower, and cave number 7 belong to the phase earlier than the 5th century CE. The rest of the caves belong to the late 5th century CE to early 6th century CE. The Chaitya caves number 19 and 26 are elaborately carved. Their facade is decorated with Buddha and Bodhisattva images. Okay, they are of the apsidal vault roof variety. Cave number 26 is a very big, and the entire interior hall is carved with variety of Buddha images. The biggest one being the Maha Parinibbana image. Okay, the rest of the caves are Vihara Chaitya caves. They consist of a pillared veranda, a pillared hall, and seal cells along the walls. Sculptural panel in the veranda of the cave number 2, Ajanta. Okay. Painting of the Buddha, Yashodhara, and Rahul. Cave number 17, Ajanta, can be depicted is depicted here. Okay. The back wall was the main Buddha shrine. Shrine images at Ajanta was grand in size. Some of the Vihara caves are unfinished, such as cave number 5, 14, 23, 24, 28, and 29. Among the important patrons at Ajanta were Varaha Deva, patron of cave number 16, the prime minister of the Vakadaga king, Harisena. Ubendra Gupta, patron of cave number 17 to 20, the local king of the region and feudatory of the Vakadaga king, Harisena. Buddha Bhadra, patron of Buddha Bhadra, patron of cave number 26, and Mathura Dasa, patron of cave number 4. Many paintings have survived in cave numbers 1 to 16 and 17. Paintings have a lot of typological variations. Outward projections are used in the Ajanta paintings of the 5th century CE. Lines are clearly defined and are very rhythmic. Body color gets merged with the outer line, creating the effect of volume. The figures are heavy, like the sculptures of Western India. The caves of the early phase also have paintings, especially cave number 9 and 10. Paintings in the cave number 10 are an afterthought, as is evident from the plastering over the early inscriptions inside the cave. On the other hand, paintings in cave number 9 are part of the pre-planning. They belong to the 1st century BCE. The figures are broad with heavy proportion and arranged in the picture space in a linear way. Lines are sharp, colors are limited. Figures figures in these caves are painted with considerable naturalism, and there is no over stylization. Okay, events are grouped together according to the geographical location. Tired, tired, tiered, horizontally arranged figures appear as a convenient choice of the artisans. Separation of geographic location has been indicated by using outward architectural bands. Figures appear like Sanji sculptures, which indicate how the lithic and painting traditions were progressing simultaneously. The frontal knot of the headgear of the figures follows the same pattern as that of the sculptures. However, there are a few different patterns of headgear. Apsara, cave number 17, Ajanta. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Figures in these caves are painted with considerable naturalism and there is no over stylization. Events are grouped together according to geographical location. Tiered, horizontally arranged figures appear as a convenient choice of the artisan. Separation of the geographic location has been indicated by using outward architectural bands. Figures appear like Sanji sculptures, which indicate how the lithic and painting traditions were progressing simultaneously. The frontal note of the headgear of the figures follow the same pattern as that of the sculptures. However, there are a few different patterns of the headgear. Okay, the second phase of paintings can be studied from the images of the Buddhas painted on the walls and pillars of cave number 10 and 9. These Buddha figures are different from the figures painted in the 5th century CE. Such developments in paintings need to be understood in the context of religious requirements. Cave excavation, cave excavation and painting were simultaneous processes, and dating of the paintings follows the date of the cave excavations. Okay, here you can see the paintings, cave number 9, Ajanta. Here you can see painted ceiling, cave number 10, Ajanta. Okay. The next stage of the development is observed mainly in the paintings of cave numbers 16, 17, 1 and 2. However, it does not mean that the pictures had not been painted in other canvas caves. Okay, in fact, almost in all the finished excavations, pictures have been painted, but very few have survived. Paintings have typological variations in these caves. It may also be observed that various skin colors are used in the paintings, such as brown, yellowish brown, greenish, yellow ochre, etc., which represent a multicolored population. Paintings of cave number 16 and 17 have precise and elegant painterly quality. They do not bear the ponderous volumes of the sculptures in the case. Movements in the figures are very rhythmic. Okay, brown thick dark lines are used as contours. Lines are forceful and full of energy. Attempts are also made to give highlights in the figural compositions. Okay, the paintings of cave number 1 and 2 are very orderly and naturalistic, well integrated with the sculptures in the caves. Architectural setting is simple and the arrangement of figures is delineated in the circular form to create three-dimensionality and the special effects. Half closed elongated eyes are employed. Different guilds of artisans seem to have worked on the paintings of these caves, which can be inferred from their typological and stylistic variations, naturalistic postures, and unexaggerated facial features are used as exceptional types. Okay, the themes of the paintings are the events from the life of Buddha, the Jatakas, and Avadanas. Some paintings, such as Simhala Avadana, Mahajanaga Avadala, and Pandita Vidur Pandita Jadaga cover the entire wall of the cave. It is worth noting that Chaddanda Jadaga has been painted in the early cave number 10 with many details and events grouped according to their geographical locations. Events that happened in jungle and events that happened in the places are separated by their locations. In cave number 10, Chaddanda faithfully faithfully follows the Pali text, whereas the one painted in cave number 17 is very different. In one of the events, the Bodhisattva Chaddanda is shown removing his own tusk and giving it to the hunter. Sonutar, Hunter Sonutar. The other important paintings are the famous Padmapani and Vajrapani in cave number 1. However, it may be observed that the images of Padmapani and Vajrapani are very common in Ajanta, but the best preserved paintings are in cave number 1. Some figures in the cave number 2 have affiliation with the Vengi sculptures, and at the same time, the influence of Vidarbha's cultural tradition is also observed in the delineation of some sculptures. The subsequent development of the painting tradition has been discussed in the next chapter. Here you can see part of Mahajanaga Jataka panel, cave number 1, Ajanta. Okay, Ellora. Next is Ellora. Another important cave site located in Aurangabad district is Ellora. Another important cave site located in Aurangabad district is Ellora. It is located 100 kilometers from Ajanta and has a okay. It is located 100 kilometers from the Ajanta and has two Buddhist, Brahmanical, and Jain caves. It is a unique art historical site in the country as it has monasteries associated with the three religions dating from the 5th century CE onwards to the 11th century CE. Okay, here you can see the depiction of a part of the Mahajanaga Jadaga panel, cave number 1, Ajanta. Okay. Here you can see courtyard, Kailash temple, cave number 16, Ellora. Seated Buddha, Chaitya hall, cave number 10, Ellora. Okay. It is also unique in terms of stylistic eclecticism, that is, confluence of many styles at one place. The caves of the Ellora and Aurangabad show the ongoing differences between the two religions, Buddhism and Brahmanical. There are 12 Buddhist caves having many images belonging to the Vajrayana Buddhism, caves having many images belonging to Vajrayana Buddhism like Tara, Maha, Mayuri, Akshobhya, Avalokiteshvara, Maitreya, Amitabha, etc. Buddhist caves are big in size and are of single, double, and triple stories. Their pillars are massive. Ajanta also has excavated double-storied caves, but okay, their pillars are massive. Ajanta also has excavated double-storied caves, but at Ellora, the story is a unique achievement. All the caves were plastered and painted, but nothing visible is left. The shrine Buddha images are big in size. They are generally guarded by the images of Padmapani and Vajrapani. Cave number 12, which is a triple story excavation, has images of Tara, okay, Avalokiteshvara and Manushi Buddhas, and the images of Vairochana, Akshobhya, Dakna Sambhava, Amitabha, Amog Siddhi, Vajra Sattva, and Vajraja Raja. Vajra Raja. Okay, Vajra Sattva and Vajra Raja. On the uh, on the other hand, the only double-story cave of the Brahminical faith is cave number 14. The pillar designs grow from the Buddhist caves, and when they reach the Jain caves belonging to the 9th century CE, they become very ornate and decorative forms, gain heavy protrusion. Okay, the Brahmanical cave number 13 to 28 have many sculptures. Many caves are dedicated to the Shaivism, but the image of both Shiva and Vishnu and their various forms according to Puranic narrative are depicted. Here you can see Gajasur Shiva, cave number 15, Ellora. Okay. Okay. Among the Shaivite themes, Ravana shaking Mount Kailash, Andagasur Vada, Kalyana Sundara are profusely depicted, whereas among the Vaishnavite themes, the different avatars of Vishnu are depicted. The sculptures at Ellora are monumental and have protruding volume that create deep precision in the picture space. Okay, the images are heavy and show considerable sophistication in the handling of the sculptural volume. Okay, various guilds at Ellora came from the different parts like Varanda. Okay, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and carved the sculptures. Thereby, it is the most thereby it is the most diverse site in India in terms of the cultural styles. Cave number 16 is known as Kailas Leni. A rocket temple has been carved out of a single rock, a unique achievement of the artisans, which will be discussed in the next chapter. Among the important Shaivite caves are cave number 29 and cave number 21. The plan of the cave no cave number 29 is almost like that of the main cave at Elephanta. This cultural quality of cave numbers 29, 21, 17, 14, and 16 is amazing for its monumentality and vigorous movements in the picture space. Okay. Elephanta caves and other sites. Elephanta caves and other sites. Okay, the Elephanta caves located near Mumbai were originally a Buddhist site which was later dominated by the Shaivite faith. Okay. Elephanta caves and other sites. The Elephanta caves located near Mumbai were originally a Buddhist site which was later dominated by the Shaivite faith. It is contemporary with Ellora and its sculpture shows slenderness in the body with stark light and dark effects. The other noteworthy cave site is Bagh, located near Indore in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, here you can see the entrance to Elephanta caves. The tradition of rocket caves continued in the Deccan and they are found not only in Maharashtra but also in Karnataka, mainly at Badami and Aiholi, executed under the patronage of Chalukyas. In Andhra Pradesh, in the area of Vijayawada, and in Tamil Nadu, mainly at Mahabalipuram, under the patronage of Pallavas. The post 6th century development of art history in the country depended more on political patronage than the collective public patronage of the early historic periods. Mention may also be Mention may also be made of the terracotta figurines that are found at many places all over the country. They show a parallel tradition with the religious lithic sculptures as well as the independent local tradition. Many terracotta figures of various sizes are found which show their popularity. They are toys, religious figurines, as well as figurines made for healing purposes as part of the belief systems. Cave tradition in Eastern India. Like in Western India, Buddhist caves have also been excavated in Eastern India, mainly in the coastal region of Andhra Pradesh and in Odisha. One of the main sites in Andhra Pradesh is Gundapalli in Eluru district. Okay. The caves have been excavated in the hills along with the structured monasteries. Perhaps it is among the very unique sites where the structured stupas, viharas, and the caves are excavated at one place. The Gundepalli Chaitya cave is circular with stupa in the circular hall and a Chaitya arch carved at the entrance. The cave is relatively small when compared to caves in the Western India. A number of vihara caves have been excavated. The main vihara caves, despite the small dimensions, have been decorated with Chaitya arches on the exterior. Okay, here you can see the Udaygiri Kandagiri caves near Bhubaneswar. Here you can see the details of the veranda Udaygiri Kandagiri. Okay, they are rectangular with vaulted roof and are carved single storied or double storied without a large central hall. These excavations date back to the 2nd century BCE. There are some excavations which were added in the subsequent centuries, but all are of the Vihara type. Apart from Gundepalli, the other important site is Rama Perambalam, which has very moderate small excavations, but there are rock cut stupas on the hillock. At Anagapalli near Vishakhapatnam, caves were excavated and a huge rock cut stupa was carved out of the hillock during the 4th 5th century CE. It is a unique site as the biggest rock cut stupas in the country. Many votive rock cut stupas all around the hillock have also been excavated. The rocket cave tradition also existed in Odisha. The earliest examples of the Udaygiri Kandagiri caves in the vicinity of Bhubaneswar. These caves are scattered and have inscriptions of Karavela kings. Okay. According to the inscriptions, the caves were meant for Jain monks. Okay. There are numerous single cell excavations. Some have been carved in huge independent boulders and given the shape of animals. The big caves include a cave with pillared veranda with cells at the back. The upper part of the cells is decorated with a series of chaitya arches and narratives that still continue in the folklores of the region. The figures in this cave are voluminous, move freely in the picture space, and are an excellent example of qualitative carving. Some caves in this complex were excavated later, sometime in the 8th to 9th century CE. Okay, here you can see the Suba one found at Sanji. Okay, Sanji, about 50 kilometers from Bhopal, the capital of Madhya Pradesh, is a World Heritage Site. Along with other relatively small stupas, there are three main stupas at Sanji. Stupa 1 is presumed to have the relics of the Buddha. Stupa 2, the relics of 10 less famous arhats belonging to three different generations. Their names are found on the relic casket. Stupa 3 has the relics of Sariputta and Maha Maugalayana. Okay. Stupa 1, known for carvings on its gateways, is one of the finest example of stupa architecture. Originally, the stupa was a small brick structure which expanded over a period and was covered with stone, Vedika and Torana, the gateways. Okay, the Ashokan lion capital pillar with an inscription is found on the southern side of the stupa, indicating how Sanji became a center of monastic and artistic activities. The south gateway was made first, followed by the others. The Pradikshana path around the stupa is covered with the Vedika. There is also the upper Pradikshana path, which is unique to this site. The four gateways are decorated profusely with sculptures. Buddha is shown symbolically as an empty throne, feet, chatra, stupas, etc. Toranas are constructed in all four directions. Their stylistic differences indicate their possible chronology from the 1st century BCE onwards. Though Stupa 1 is the oldest stupa, the carving of images on the Vedika of Stupa 2 are earlier than those on Stupa 1. Jatakas also become an important part of the narratives in stupas. The figures at Sanji, despite being small in dimension, show considerable mastery of sculpting. Their physiognomic treatment of the body shows both depth and dimension, which are very naturalistic. There are guardian images on the pillars, and the Sthala Banjika, that is the lady holding the branch of a tree. Sculptures are remarkable in their treatment of volume. The rigidity of the earlier sculptures of Stupa 2 is no more there. Each Torana consists of two vertical pillars and three horizontal bars on the top. Each horizontal bar is decorated with different sculptural themes on the front as well as at the back. Supporting the extensions of the lowermost horizontal bar from below are the images of Stalabanjigas. Okay. Seated Buddha, Katra Mount, Mathura. You can see them here. Okay. Mathura was a great center for making sculptures during the early historic period, and many images have been found here. A large number of images dating back to Kushana period is from Mathura. A distinct way of sculpting practiced at Mathura makes the images found here different from those at other centers in the country. The image of the Buddha from the Katra Mount belongs to the 2nd century CE. It represents the Buddha with two Bodhisattva attendants. The Buddha is seated in Padmasana, cross-folded legs, and the right hand is in the Abhaya Mudra, raised a little above the shoulder level, whereas the left hand is placed on the left thigh. The Ushanisha, that is hair knot, is shown with a vertically raised projection. Mathura sculptures from this period are made with light volume, having fleshy body. The shoulders are broad. The Sankati garment covers only one shoulder and has been made prominently visible covering the left hand, whereas while covering the torso, the independent volume of the garment is reduced to the body torso. The Buddha is seated on a lion throne. The attendant figures are identified as the images of the Padmapani and Vajrapani bodhisattvas, as one holds a lotus and the other a Vajra thunderbolt. They wear crowns and are on either side of the Buddha. Okay. The halo around the head of the Buddha is very large and is decorated with simple geometric motifs. There are two flying figures placed diagonally above the halo. They bear a lot of movement in the picture space. Flexibility replaces the earlier rigidity in the images, giving them a more earthy look. Curves of the body are as delicately carved. The upright posture of the Buddha images create movement in space. The face is round with fleshy cheeks. The bulge of the belly is sculpted with controlled musculature. It may be noted that there are numerous examples of sculptures from the Kushana period at Mathura, but this image is representative and is important for the understanding of the development of the Buddha image in the subsequent periods. Buddha head found at Taxila. Okay. The Buddha head from Taxila in the Gandhara region, now in Pakistan, dates back to the 2nd century CE and belongs to the Kushana period. Okay. The image shows the hybridized pictorial conventions that developed during the Gandhara period. It has Greco-Roman elements in the treatment of sculpture. The Buddha head has typical Hellenistic elements that have grown over a period of time. The curly hair of Buddha is thick, having a covered layer of sharp and linear stalks over the head. The forehead plane is large, having protruding eyeballs. The eyes are half closed, and the face and cheeks are not round like the images found in other parts of India. There is a certain amount of heaviness in the figures of the Gandhara region. The ears are elongated, especially the earlobes. The treatment of the form bears linearity, and the outlines are sharp. The surface is smooth. The image is very expressive. The interplay of light and dark is given considerable attention by using the curving and protruding planes of the eye socket and the planes of the nose. The expression of calmness is the center point of attraction. Modeling of the face enhances the naturalism of three-dimensionality. Assimilating various traits of Achaemenian, Parthian, and Bactrian traditions into the local tradition is a hallmark of the Gandhara style. The Gandhara images have physiognomic features of the Greco-Roman tradition, but they display a very distinct way of treating physiognomic details that are not completely Greco-Roman. The source of development of Buddha images, as well as others, has its genesis in its peculiar geopolitical conditions. It may also be observed that the northwestern part of India, which is now Pakistan, always had continuous habitation from the proto-historic times. It continued in the historical period as well. A large number of images have been found in Gandhara region. They consist of narratives of the life of the Buddha, narrations from the Jataka stories, and Buddha and Bodhisattva images. Okay. Seated Buddha found at Sarnath. Okay. This image of the Buddha from Sarnath belonged to the late 5th century CE is housed in the site museum at Sarnath. It has been made in Chunar sandstone. Okay. The Buddha is shown seated on a throne in Padmasana. It represents Dhammachakra Pravartana, as can be seen from the figures on the throne. The panel below the throne depicts a chakra wheel in the center and a deer on either side of its disciples, with his disciples. Okay, thus it is a representation of the historical event of Dhammachakra Pravartana or the preaching of Dhamma. The Buddha image is a fine example of the Sarnath school of sculpture. The body is slender and well proportioned but slightly elongated. The outlines are delicate, very rhythmic. Folded legs are expanded in order to create visual balance in the picture space. Drapery clings to the body and is transparent to create the effect of integrated volume. The face is round, the eyes are half closed, the lower lip is protruding, and the roundness of the cheeks has reduced as compared to the earlier images from the Kushana period of at Mathura. The hands are shown in Dhammachakra Pravartana Mudra, placed just below the chest. The neck is slightly elongated with two incised lines indicating folds. The Ushanisha has circular, curled hairs. The aim of the sculptures in ancient India had always been to represent the Buddha as a great human being who achieved nibbana, that is, cessation of anger and hate. Okay. The, the back of the throne is profusely decorated with different motifs of flowers and creepers placed in a concentric circle. The central part of the halo is plain, without any decoration. It makes the halo visually impressive. Decoration in halo and the back of the throne indicates the artisan's sensitivity. Sarnath Buddha images of this period show considerable softness in the treatment of the surface and volume. Transparent drapery becomes part of the physical body. Such refinement comes over a period of time, and these features continued in subsequent periods. There are many other Buddha images in the standing position from Sarnath having features like transparent drapery, subtle movement, carved separately and placed above the memorial stupas and around the Dharma Rajika stupa. These images are now preserved in the Sarnath Museum. They are either single or with the attendant figures of Bodhisattvas, Padmapani and Vajrapani. Padmapani Bodhisattva, Ajanta cave number 1. Okay. This painting on the back wall of the interior hall before the shrine and the chamber in cave number 1 at Ajanta dates back to the late 5th century CE. The Bodhisattva is holding a Padma lotus, has large shoulders, and has 3 bends in the body, creating a movement in the picture space. The modeling is soft. Outlines are merged with the body volume, creating the effect of three-dimensionality. The figure of the Bodhisattva is wearing a big crown, in which detailed rendering is visible. The head is slightly bent to the left. The eyes are half closed and are slightly elongated. The nose is sharp and straight. Light color all over the projected planes of the face is aimed at creating an effect of the three-dimensionality. The beaded necklace too has the beaded necklace has similar features. Broad and expanded shoulders create heaviness in the body. The torso is relatively round. Lines are delicate, rhythmic, and define the contours of the body. The right hand is holding a lotus, and the left hand is extended in the space. The Bodhisattva is surrounded by small figures. The foreshortened right hand of the Bodhisattva makes the image more solid and effectively dense. The thread over the torso is shown with fine spiral lines, indicating its dimensions. Ajanta cave 2, cave number 2 is shown here. Okay. The thread over the torso is shown with fine spiral lines, indicating its dimensions. Each and every part of the body is given equal attention. Light red, brown, green, and blue colors are used. Nose projections, incised end of lips with lower lip projection and small chin contribute to the overall effect of solidity in the figure composition. The paintings in cave number 1 are of good quality and are better preserved. One can observe certain typological and stylistic variations in the paintings of Ajanta, indicating different guilds of artisans working on the cave paintings at Ajanta over the centuries. Okay, here you can see painting of Mahajanak Jadaga, cave number 1, Ajanta cave number 1. Okay. On the other side of the image, Vajrapani Bodhisattva has been painted. He holds a Vajra in the right hand and wears a crown. This image also bears the same pictorial qualities as the Padmapani. Cave number 1 has many interesting paintings of Buddha themes such as Mahajanak Jadaga, Umang Jadaga, etc. The Mahajanak Jadaga is painted on the entire wall side and is the biggest narrative painting. It may be observed that the paintings of the Padmapani and Vajrapani and the Bodhisattvas are painted as shrine guardians. Similar such iconographic arrangement is also observed in other caves of Ajanta. However, Padmapani and Vajrapani in cave number 1 are among the best survived paintings of Ajanta. Mara Vijaya, Ajanta cave number 26. Okay. The theme of Mara Vijaya has been painted in the caves of Ajanta. This is the only sculptural representation sculpted on the right wall of cave number 26. It is okay. Mara theme of Mara Vijaya has been painted in the caves of Ajanta. This is only sculptural representation sculpted on the right wall of cave number 26. It is sculpted near the colossal Buddha image of Mahaparinibbana. Okay. The panel shows the image of the Buddha in the center, surrounded by Mara's army, along with his daughter. The event is part of the Enlightenment. It is a personification of the commotion of mind, which the Buddha went through at the time of Enlightenment. Mara represents the desire. According to the narrative, there is a dialogue between Buddha and Mara, and the Buddha is shown with his right hand indicating towards earth as witness to his generosity. This relief sculptural panel is highly animated and shows a very matured sculptural style at Ajanta. The composition is very complex with highly voluminous images. Their complex arrangement in the picture space is highly dynamic and generates considerable movement. The figure on the right shows Mara coming with his army consisting of various kinds of people, including some with grotesque animal faces. The dancing figures at the lower base with the musicians have forward bulging waist, and one of the dancing figures has expanded her hands in the dancing posture with an angular frontal look. On the left tower end, the image of Mara is shown contemplating how to disturb Siddhartha, the name of the Buddha, before enlightenment. The army of Mara is shown marching towards the Buddha in the first half of the panel, whereas the lower half of the panel shows the departing army of Mara giving him adorations. The centrally placed Buddha is in Padmasana, and at a tree at the back is shown by dense lace. Some of the facial features of the Mara army has tacit characters of the sculptures from Vidarbha. The artisans at Ajanta worked in guilds, and their stylistic affiliations can be traced by identifying such stylistic features. This is the largest sculptural panel at Ajanta. So there are several big images in the caves of Ajanta and especially located in the shrine and the chamber as well as facade walls. Such a complex arrangement of figures is unique. On the other hand, painted panels exhibit such complexities in their arrangement. A similar kind of arrangement of dancing figures in a panel is also observed at Aurangabad caves. Okay. Here you can see the Mahesh Murthy Elephanta. Okay. The image of Mahesh Murthy at Elephanta dates back to the early 6th century CE. It is located in the main cave shrine. In the tradition of Western Deccan sculpting, it is one of the best examples of qualitative achievement in sculpting images in the rocket caves. The image is large in size. The central head is the main Shiva figure, whereas the other two visible heads are of Bhairava and Uma. The central face is in high relief, having a round face, thick lips, and heavy eyelids. The lower lip is prominently protruded, showing a very different characteristic. The all-inclusive aspect of Shiva is exhibited in this sculpture by soft modeling, smooth surface, and large face. The face of Shiva Bhairava is clearly shown in profile, in anger, with bulging eye and mustache. The other, hmm, the other face showing feminine characters or is of Uma, who is the consort of Shiva. One of the Shilpa texts mention 5 integrated faces of Shiva, and this image, despite being shown with only 3 faces, is considered as the same variety, and the top and back faces are deemed as invisible. Each face has a different crown as per its iconographic prescription. This sculpture has been sculpted on the south wall of the cave along with sculpture of Ardhanarishwara and the Gandhara panel. Elephanta sculptures are known for their remarkable qualities of surface smoothness, elongation, and rhythmic movement. Their composition is very complex. The iconography arrangement of this cave is replicated in cave number 29 at Ellora. Okay. Mural traditions of India. Figure A shows Ananda from the Ananda Padmanabha temple, Kasargod. Okay. B. Shiva chasing the boar, a scene from Kiradarjaniya Lepaksha temple. B. Okay. C. Chola king Rajaraja and court poet Karuvar Devar. Tanjavur, 11th century. C. Okay. D is Shiva killing Tripurasura, Tanjavur. Okay. E. Rama kills Ravana, a scene from Ramayana panel, Mattancheri Palace. F. Shasta, Padmanabhapuram Palace, Takkala. Okay. So we have completed chapter 4. In the next video, we will discuss chapter 5, later mural traditions. Thank you for listening me. We'll see you next class. Bye.